All right, we're out on a range today, not our range, but a range. And once again, no, you haven't won a prize. That's a scam. Now, recently, one of the crew acquired this 9mm pistol. It's called a Laugo, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Alien. And even though it's called an Alien, I'm pretty sure it was made right here on Earth. Today, we're going to evaluate this pistol. We'll shoot it alongside some other 9mm pistols and see how it stacks up. But before we go any farther, let me show you a close-up of how this thing operates. It has a safety on the trigger like a Glock, but no other safety. Here's your slide release and your magazine release. It has a beveled magazine well. You put in a magazine of 17 rounds. But watch as I chamber around. You'll see that as the slide comes back, it does not move the top of the pistol. So when you fire it, your sights will not move. It's a very interesting design, and it's intended to make the recoil go more straight back and less up. In evaluating any handgun and asking questions like, how reliable is it? How accurate is it? It always has to be in the guise of, how accurate is it compared to what? How reliable is it compared to what? Well, I brought some other 9mm auto-loading pistols to use as a basis of comparison, like a SIG M17 and a Beretta 92 FS. And an oldie but a goodie, a Smith & Wesson Model 59. And something that isn't all that common, an Israeli weapons industry's Jericho 941R. So let's see how our Alien stacks up against all of these, and we'll start with an accuracy comparison. Evaluating the accuracy of this pistol starts with a disclaimer that this does not belong to me. I've never seen it before today, and so far I've put about 15 rounds through it. That having been said, we'll see what kind of group I can get shooting this target offhand from 20 yards. I've got the shot holes covered with green pasties so they're easier to see. And that's not a bad group, easily covered with one hand. And remember, I shoot offhand because we're not just trying to determine the accuracy of the pistol, but the accuracy that can be achieved with this pistol by the average shooter. So is that a good group? Well, now I'll go back 20 yards and I'll shoot this target with my M17, and let's see how the groups compare. And here's our group with the M17 covered with the orange pasties. Now the first thing we notice is that the group with the M17 is more centered. Of course, it's my pistol, it's zeroed for me. But is the group any better? Not really. They're just about the exact same size. So let's put up a new target and try another pistol. Now we have a new target set up, and I'll shoot from 20 yards with our old school Smith & Wesson Model 59. Now, in discussing our group with the Smith & Wesson Model 59, start with the disclaimer, this gun isn't mine either. But the Alien wasn't mine and had a much better group. I couldn't cover this group with Manute Bowles' hand. And that's not necessarily that there's anything wrong with the gun, it's just a combination of these sights, this grip, this trigger pull, and me all together didn't work all that well. Let's try another pistol. Now I'll go back 20 yards and shoot this target with our Jericho 941R, and again it comes with a disclaimer that this gun is not mine, and so far I put a total of about 5 rounds through it. And I've got the group with the Jericho covered with the orange pasties, and that's not a bad group at all. Now let's put up one more target and try one more gun, the Beretta 92FS. And with a Beretta 92FS, altogether what I'd call a mediocre group. But remember, the design of the Alien, in both the way it vectors the recoil and the fact that the sights don't move, is supposed to help you for rapid follow-up shots. So let's see how we do on a 3-target drill. And because we're so high-tech, we have 3 targets that are unevenly spaced and different heights. Now, typically the way I'd shoot this is 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, reload, and then repeat that. But because the reload portion of the drill has a lot more to do with my familiarity with the firearm than the firearm itself, we're going to leave out the reload and I'll just shoot the 12 shots. And we'll see how long it takes me.
.97.
6.97. Now let's take a look at the targets. And here's target number 1, 3 shots and 4. And we go over to target number 2. There's 4 shots, not bad. And target number 3, here's 3 shots and then the 4th. Now let's see if the Model 59 can redeem itself after its poor performance on the slow fire.
.43.
8.43. The numerical score on the target with the Alien was 113. With the Smith & Wesson it was 114. So although slower, the scores were pretty close to the same. The Smith & Wesson slightly higher. Now let's see how I do with the SIG M17.
.72.
7.72. And here's our 4 hits on target 1 with the M17. And 1, 2, 3, 4 hits on target 2 with the M17. And 1, 2, 3, 4 on target 3 with the M17. Now with the SIG M17, I again got a numerical score of 114. But let's see how we do with this 941R. targets. And with the 941R, here's our 4 hits on target number 1. Our 4 hits on target number 2. And our 4 hits on target number 3. So with the 941R, in a time of 8.01, we got a score of 118. That's the best so far. So now let's see how all of those stack up against me shooting the 92FS. And of course, this comes with the caveat that this pistol actually is mine.
.03.
Say that again?
7.03.
7.03. Now let's take a look at the targets. And with the 92FS, here's our 4 hits on target number 1. Our 4 hits on target number 2. Our 4 hits on target number 3. There's a flyer. Yes, that's just me. And yes, that is very annoying. So with Beretta, I got a time of 7.03. We'll check that. And a score of 119, so not bad. And I thought we were done, but about 2 minutes ago, someone handed me this Glock. I have never fired this Glock before at all. I mean, I have fired Glocks before, but not this one. So let's see how we do with this.
.09.
So not great on the time. Let's take a look at the target. And with our Glock 17, here's our 4 hits on target number 1. Here's our 4 hits on target number 2. It looks like 5, but we lost a pasty. And here's our 4 hits on target number 3. Not only have I never fired this Glock 17 before, but the owner of it just informed me that he's never fired it either. So these are the first shots that's been fired through this gun right out of the box. Take that for what it's worth. I wrote down all of our lines and all of our scores. This is a lot of numbers and I want to make sure my hand's in the right place, so please bear with me if I look at the chart. Also, I have to say something I hadn't said in a while, and that is we are on a live fire range. Please bear with gunfire you hear in the background. Now, if we look at these numbers, I want to start with the 92FS, a time of 7.03, compared to our Alien, a time of 6.97. The Alien is 5/100ths of a second faster. That's not much. But it's also a pistol I have never seen before today, compared to one that I've been using since before the turn of the century. So it looks like that slide and sight design might just help you out a lot with the Alien. Now, if we look at our Smith & Wesson Model 59, as I said before, the combination of those sights, that trigger pull, that grip, and me wasn't working out really well. But with our other handguns that I haven't fired before, the Glock and the 941R, time's very similar, score is very similar. And if we look at the M17, that pistol is mine, but it's one I haven't really used a lot. We still see pretty close to similar time, a score that's not quite as good. So what can we take from all of this? Well, it looks like the Alien's design might help you out a lot. However, all of these other pistols, now the Smith & Wesson, that's an old gun, it doesn't quite count. All these other pistols have price tags from $500 to $700. The Alien comes in different trim levels, but no matter which one you buy, as far as I can tell, you're looking at a price of at least $4,000. That's a lot more. Is it really worth it? I'm going to say that if you're some serious IPSC type of competitor, you know it might be. But for the rest of us, I'm going to say find a gun that you can work with and spend all that money on ammunition and some practice time might be the better way to go. Now, there's one thing I have to say about the Glock. We see that with the Glock, never fired it before, it hadn't even been fired before, we have a pretty good time and a really good score. There's a reason why institutions like police agencies like Glocks so much. And one of those reasons is that they're so easy to operate for people that don't get that much trigger time. Most of the time when you buy a Glock, the sights are going to be pretty close, and they're easy to operate. Thus, they make a really good institutional gun. Now, one thing to add, our IWI 941R Jericho. John was nice enough to come out here, operate the camera today, let me use his firearm. Thank you. As for everybody else, please don't try this at home on what you call a professional, and thanks for watching our Alien versus every other kind of pistol video.